Another edition in the historic Cumberland County rivalry begins tonight. Or I guess you could say it continues, as in Game 2 of this Cape Atlantic American Showdown, it's the Millville Thunderbolts against the Vineland Fighting Clan. Hello, everybody. I'm Dan Wilkins. Damian Waiters is my producer for this evening. It's our first night game of the year. And wasting no time, as Vineland has taken the field, they'll have home plate umpires. And first of all, John Gallante, the home plate umpire for this Vineland-Millville matchup this evening. It's going to be a 7 o'clock first pitch here from the Vineland North Field, as Vineland coming into this one after a 17-11 football-style slugfest over the Millville Thunderbolts yesterday from Millville's field. Now today it'll be Mario Toro on the hill for the Vineland Fighting Clan. Meanwhile, Garrett Shapiro takes the hill with just a 1.33 whip but a 7 ERA for Millville as they look to get back into the win column. They're 1-5. Vineland is 5-2, and they've definitely picked up some strong victories over the last few weeks. They took a win over Mainland, a perennial contender in the Cape Atlantic American, and they also took care of Ocean City in both of their games. And not to mention, they run-ruled the Group 4 state champions from last year in the Cherokee Chiefs. So there's a lot to like about this Vineland team, and we're going to get to seeing them for the first time this afternoon, and we'll be seeing them on the diamond for the first time since March of 2025. For Vineland, their starting pitcher this afternoon will be Mario Toro. Formerly a commit to Felician University, the Division II, he recently flipped his commitment to Rowan College of South Jersey at Gloucester. He's got a 1.75 ERA in 8 innings pitched with 4 walks, 9 Ks, and a 1.62 ERA. His last appearance was in that Cape Atlantic American Series versus Mainland. Meanwhile, we'll get the starting lineups here for the Millville Thunderbolts, led by second-year head coach Valdre Forbes. For Forbes and company, it'll be Pat Toll at the shortstop position leading off, followed up by Nate Hecox in right field. Garrett Shapiro is your pitcher in DH. Jaden Goranson is the catcher, batting fourth. Marcellus Preston in left field, batting fifth. Cole Mulherron is the third baseman, batting sixth. Max Richter is the first baseman in the 7th slot. Christian McGarity is the center fielder, batting eighth. And Bobby Dixon is your second baseman, batting in the 9th slot. So Millville 1-5, Vineland 5-2, as the catcher will throw this one down, and we're going to get ready to go here in Vineland. Toe will be the leadoff man. Here in a classic edition of the Cumberland County rivalry. Good crowd on hand for a fun event nonetheless. 6:59 is your first pitch, and we've got a strike to Tull. Oh and 1. The 0-2. Low. One ball, 2 strikes to Tull. Toro ready to work under pressure here as the 1-2 breaking ball upstairs, 2-2. It is a brisk one tonight. It was 55 when we got here. It's going to dip down all the way to 41 degrees with a real feel of about 34 once that sun sets behind us, which definitely is sooner rather than later. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. Mario Toro picks up the first strikeout of the evening, and it comes to the hands of Pat Toll for out number 1. Batter now will be Nate Hecox. First pitch to the junior outfielder Hecox is flied out towards first base. Toro's going to call for it himself, and he'll make the catch for out number two. So it'll be the pitcher and the designated hitter in Garrett Shapiro.
Now batting, Garrett
Shapiro, excuse me. 211 hitter this season, 4 for 19. A career 246 hitter for Millville. Went 8 for 24 last season, 333 average. And we'll talk about him once he gets onto the mound, but a career 3.57 ERA for the senior right-hander. Puts it in play on the first pitch, out of the box to third, and it's booted. Tough play over there at third. And I might actually score that a base hit in my book because that was a very tough play over at third base, and Shapiro is on with a base hit. And the only reason why I said that was kind of reflective of yesterday was that in yesterday's win for Vineland, 17-11, there were 10 total errors in the game, 5 by each side. And we call it a slugfest, but it's not much of a slugfest if nobody hits a homer in the game. And at a very hitter-friendly ballpark like Vineland North Field, 300 feet down the left field line, where we're standing, it's about 355 feet. And then it extends back out to 315 in right field. Batter is Jaden Garanson. 5 for 15 in his first varsity season as a junior. Had a 4-hit night versus Hamilton as the throw back to second is in time. He got him. Throw down to second, works for perfection as the 1-2 punch for Vineland does its wonders. And Quinones guns down the runner at second base. Going to the bottom of the first here at Vineland North, no score. Three, two, one. Garrett Shapiro, the pitcher for Millville this evening. He'll get the start with 9 2/3 innings, 11 walks, 15 Ks, but a relatively low whip of 1.33. He has not allowed that many hits, but he has allowed 10 earned runs. That gives him an ERA of 7.24 for the senior right-hander as he steps in for his second game, or the second game for Millville versus Vineland. For Kyle Jones and the Vineland Fighting Clan, they'll line up with Dom Menzoni at second base. Xavier Etheridge is your shortstop in the 2 slot. CJ Santiago, the first baseman, batting third. Mario Toro, the pitcher, batting fourth. Bobby Quinones is the catcher, batting fifth. Valin Townsend is the third baseman, batting sixth. Nino Torres in center field, batting seventh. You've got Brett Brosh at the DH, batting eighth. And then Ernie Barnhart is your left fielder, batting in the 9 slot. So Menzoni, one of 3 Vineland players this season with over a 400 average to start their campaign. Hitting .478 this season. The first pitch is low. 11 for 23, which is quite similar to how Mendoza did in his freshman year. He had 24 at-bats, he had 10 hits, all singles, and batted .417. Had 3 hits, went 3 for 4 and stole 4 bases in last night's slugfest over Millville, 17-11. Strike called, and it's 1-1. As we said, a brisk 45 degrees from Vineland North Field. Wind blowing out towards center, so we could see some long balls. That one's outside. But it's funny, this is our first time at Vineland High School for a high school event. We've been here plenty of times in the Summer League. The Vineland Gartons Summer League team led by Chris Williams and hosting a lot of great South Jersey talent, the likes of which being guys like Anthony Charles, who's now at Delaware, went to Clearview but plays here in the summer. Point is, though, that this is where they play their home field, and it's just as well kept in the spring as it is in the summer. The 1-2. Strike 3 call. That's a sinker ball from Shapiro, and that's out number 1. You could just hear the spirit out of the Millville dugout, even from 350 feet away, as Xavier Etheridge will be the batter. Etheridge, the senior, manning shortstop today for the Fighting Clan. .263 average for the senior, as there's a strike call. 3 RBIs, 5 hits, and 19 at-bats. Went 0 for 3 in last night's win for Vineland. Like we said, their only loss was a 1-0 complete game shutout against Mainland back on last Wednesday. Mainland scored the first run in the first inning, and that's all it took. Vineland was held to 4 hits in the game. As the 1-1. Low and outside, 2-1. Yeah, Shapiro and Toro both have good velocity here, and I think that that's going to help them out dearly in this game. Is compared to yesterday, I think Toro is Vineland's #1 guy. I'm not 100% sure if Vineland has their #1 guy figured out, but they started Carson Reed yesterday, and he pitched and received the loss versus Vineland. So if you want to put it in the sense of these two teams are now facing a little bit of tougher competition in Game 2, that's kind of the whole point of the Cape Atlantic back-to-back scheduling, which was introduced in 2022, so that you don't have to face the same pitcher twice. It is a good strategy. The 2-2. And you're starting to see other leagues take notice in South Jersey. Obviously, the Greater Middlesex Conference has done that. They've been the pioneer of that in New Jersey. But the Tri-County Liberty Division, which consists of Delsea, Highland, Timber Creek, Triton, and a handful of others. I don't know why I'm blanking. They all will face back-to-back as a ground ball to third. Picked up, throw across. A stretch pops out of the glove. And that will be a fielding error on the first baseman in Max Richter. The throw from Cole Mulherrin wasn't that bad. It was on the line. It was just a little bit off, but that was enough to pull him off. So whether you want to call it a fielding error on Richter or a throwing error on Mulherrin, it'll still count the same. It'll be a base runner for Vineland, as C.J. Santiago will be the batter. Santiago, the senior, 438 hitter, runner goes. No throw, and he'll get into second safely. So a stolen base for Etheridge. 272 hitter last year in 81 at-bats. This season, 7 for 16, 3 RBIs, 5 walks, 2 stolen bases. Had 2 hits and an RBI in last night's win. See if that runner goes again. He does. And that ball's going to pop out of the gloves. How about back-to-back stolen bases for Xavier Etheridge? He had 4 of them last night, and he's already picked up 2. So he has been on a tear, as Vineland is going to look to get an early lead here off of Millville. Shapiro, the 0-2. Santiago. Breaking ball inside by a hair. Umpires for today's game, John Galante of Tri-State Elite Umpiring behind the home plate, and Jerry Wilgus is your base umpire today. Swing and a miss, he got him. That's a huge out for Shapiro, and there's 2 away. So it'll be pitcher versus pitcher, pound for pound here with Mario Toro. They're going to intentionally walk Mario Toro. So never mind about that. They'll give him the free base. I can't remember the last time I've seen a high school team intentionally walk a batter in the first inning. So he's going to intentionally walk, and then he's going to be run for because he's the pitcher. So very odd, to say the least. Number 5 batter for Vineland. It'll be Bobby Quinones. Runners on the corners, 2 away for the Fighting Clan. Here's the pitch. Runner's going to go, and no throw down to second. So talk about some more stolen bases. Vineland's already got 3 of them in this game, and it's already the bottom of the first inning. It is some quick base running here, but a base hit would score 2, so those bases, those advancements of 90 feet, they matter all the same, and they're worth their weight in gold if this batter here, Quinones, can drop down a single. You know, you don't even need a big swing. It's a cold night. You're not going to get a lot of high-powered offense in this game, but he fouls it back, and it's 1-2. After a clean frame by the Thunderbolts, it'll be, actually, pardon, after the first 4 came up, it'll be 5, 6, and 7. Marcellus Preston, Cole Mulherron, and Max Richter for the Thunderbolts in the top of the second. Looking to keep this game scoreless here at Vineland North. Everybody getting loose, trying to stay warm on this brisk Wednesday evening. 2-strike pitch is high, pops out of the glove. It gets rattled away, and the run will score. Run scores on the passed ball, and that's how the offense starts this evening. It goes out of the glove of Garanson, and Etheridge will score, and it's 1-0 Vineland. And that is exactly how this game felt like it was going to start. It felt like it was going to be something defensive that was going to get this game going, and after last night was 17-11, you want to think that this game is going to be similar like last night, but it's about 20 degrees colder, maybe not 20, but like 10 or 15 degrees colder, and the wind is whipping wilder than it was last night. So there's going to be more factors in this, disregarding the fact that they're playing at an entirely different field. Millville and Vineland North are definitely different ballparks in the sense that, yeah, they got high fences, but this left field at Vineland is a huge short porch. Popped up foul towards the press box. Still 3-2. Three balls, 2 strikes. Shapiro. Runner trailing off a third. It hit him in the helmet, and he'll have a hit by pitch. So the inning continues for Vineland. Kid's tough. Bobby Quinones gets the hit by pitch. He took off his helmet and then showed up his dugout. I love it. Great athleticism from the kid there, as it'll be the number 6 batter for Vineland in Townsend. Valin Townsend, the sophomore, 250 hitter, 3 for 12. Had an extra base hit in his 4th game of the season. Vineland's 6-3 win over Mainland. Yeah, there are 2 losses, with a 1-0 loss to Mainland and then a 4-3 loss to Cumberland in non-conference play. That was definitely surprising because Cumberland, runner goes. How about stolen base number 4? This is like Doan Academy all over again. These guys are just running all over each other. And again, that is going to matter, because if the Millville defense is not going to be able to keep up with this Vineland base running attack, A bloop base hit is going to score 2 runs every time, and putting a runner in scoring position in this scenario, it pays dividends. So we'll see how Vineland does. They've already got a run home on a passed ball. That one's upstairs. And it's 3 balls, no strikes to Townsend, with Shapiro just trying to get out of the jam as quickly as he can. It'll be Nino Torres, the center fielder, batting if the inning continues. The 3-0. Strike called. This ball's hit well, straightaway left field, going back. He's got room, and he makes the catch, as bringing that one down is Preston. Vineland gets a run home on a passed ball, but nothing more. They leave 2 runners in scoring position. Through 1 at Vineland North. It's a brisk one tonight, but the bats are red hot. It's 1-0.
In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties, with experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers at schools dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
Four, 5, and 6 for Millville. Goranson, Preston, and Mulharan due up here in the top of the second. Vineland got a run home on a passed ball, but they stole 4 total bases. Etheridge had 2 of them. So we'll see how that translates to Vineland's offense this afternoon, this evening, as a breaking ball low. The good thing about being in this perch here in left center field, just over the pitcher's shoulder, is that you can see balls and strikes a little bit clearer than you can when you're on ground level. You know, you're at where our camera is just a little bit above the eye level of the pitcher, as that one is up and away. 2 balls, no strikes. But I'm curious how Millville's offense is going to respond, because I think both teams know that their defense was a liability last night with the 5 errors on each side. I mean, that's not sustainable if you're either side, if you're Vineland or Millville. Just got to find a way to get clean runs, get clean hits, and that'll improve your standing a little bit better, at least in the eyes of some. Here's the 2-0. Poke check off the bat, and it's 2-1. Kind of a check swing there. I think it either hit the knob or it hit the inside of the barrel. But he fouled it towards Valdra Forbes and the Millville dugout, and it's 2-1. Toro, the 2-1. Puts it in play out towards second base. This is going to be a tough one. Flipping it to the mound, and it's in time. And Toro picks that one up for a 4-1 ground out for the first out of the inning. Very strong defense that time, and there's some teams that can't make that play, because when there's a ground ball to the left side of the infield, I thought that maybe that first baseman would have been there to cover the bag, but instead Toro goes over and covers the bag instead. It's a smart play. It's not 100% conventional, but it gets the job done, and that's exactly what we saw there, as there's one away for the batter, Marcellus Preston. Breaking ball up and away. A lot of first pitch breaking balls here from Mario Toro. Whether it's a 12-6 curveball or a slider, you're seeing a little bit of a non-conventional approach, but his pitches have a lot of break to them, and I really like how he throws that. You know, his fastball might not be a trailblazing thing, but his breaking balls are a thing of beauty. His fastball is very much a straight and narrow, but those sliders, they really are wipeout sliders, and those breaking balls, those 12-6 curveballs, if you don't have a grip on them, you know, if you do have a grip on them, you can hit them, but if you don't, you're not going to make a lot of good contact, if any contact. 2 balls, no strikes. Second at bat in a row to start out with a 2-0 count. That one's high, 3-0. Yeah, Toro's going to have to work on the control here. Three balls, no strikes. Looking to put a runner on here for the Thunderbolts. And he will. Ball 4. 4-pitch walk to Marcellus Preston. And it gives Millville their first base runner of the afternoon. Or I should say their second, because there was that hit by pitch. Runner was thrown out at second base. Or it was the fielding error, excuse me. Yeah, it looks like they did put it on the video board as an error. So I was going to score it a base hit because it was a tough play and it was beyond ordinary effort for the third baseman Townsend. But usually it's the other way around. Usually I score something an error. Oh, and the ball gets away. Speaking of errors, that one's going to go into the right field corner. Now going down, rounding second, stopping there, and that throw almost got away, but the runner advances. It's an E1 against Toro, and that will now be the second error against the Vineland Fighting Clan here in as many innings. So now they're going to bring the infield in, and Quinones is going to talk with his guys. But yeah, I think as it goes, you look at what Vineland has accomplished here. They've accomplished an intimidating offense that knows they're going to run the bases, but Millville seems like they're going to put on an intimidating show in their dugout, which that seems to rock Toro a little bit. So we'll see how he adjusts. Remember, the higher level you go, the more you've got to adjust to, I don't want to call it hostile environments, but to contested environments. You know, I've seen so many baseball games that are as quiet as a mouse, where sometimes when I'm commentating a big play, I'm the loudest man in the room, not the people in the dugout. But it's actually kind of refreshing to hear Millville chirping it up here in their dugout on the third base side. There's a bunt. It's in play out in front of the mound. Toro's got a throw. It is in time. So a 1-3 sacrifice off the bat of Cole Mulharan. And there's 2 down now for Max Richter, the first baseman. Number 7 batter for the Thunderbolts. I said, as soon as this sun goes down, it's going to get super cold here. And the wind isn't terrible. I've had wind that's right in your face that you can't really function. This is at least reasonable. It's a little bit annoying if you ask me. 0-1 to Richter. If Max Richter homers, I think I should be allowed to say that he broke the Richter scale. Richter, the senior. That one is low. Appeal says no. So it'll be 1-1. Richter looking for just his second hit of the season and a 1-for-12 skid to start his senior year. Only had 1 at bat during his junior year, so it'll kind of be a one-and-done situation where his most valuable varsity time will be during his senior year. Time called at the plate. Vineland had 6 batters in the bottom of the first. 1 runner scored. They'll bat 7, 8, 9 in the bottom of the second. As this ball skied out towards center field. This one's pretty deep. Richter, and it's caught in center field. Great play. Ranging back for that one, it's Nino Torres. And funny enough, he's going to lead us off to start the bottom of the second inning. Here in Vineland, the Fighting Clan lead the Thunderbolts 1-0. Welcome back. Bottom of the second inning here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. It'll be a 1-0 Vineland lead. Got a run home on a passed ball to start off the offensive output. Not as nearly as much as the 17-11 game that we saw yesterday. Didn't have run-by-run input for that game. I'll have to watch yesterday's broadcast on our good friends over at Quinn Broadcasting, QBC. I've got to stop myself from saying QVC for simplicity's sake. But 1-1 to Torres, 7, 8, 9 for the Fighting Clan. It'll be Torres, Brosh, and Bernhardt. Two balls, 1 strike to Torres, the center fielder, who made that nice catch to end the second inning. He'll put it in play, third base side, ground ball right to the third baseman. Throw to first is in time, and there's one away. Can't ask for much more than that. I mean, you know, you put the ball in play, and it looks like it's going to be a good one down the line, but I think that third baseman, they were playing, defending the corners, defending the foul lines, so strong play by Mulharron. Batter will now be Brett Brosh. First pitch to Brosh is a strike called, 0-1. That one is low. Yeah, we actually skipped out on a morning game today because of the cold forecasted temperatures. It was going to be Burlington Township and Bordentown. And a ground ball to second. Nice play. Throw to first is in time. And a quick 4-3 ground out at the hands of Bobby Dixon. So here's Ernie Bernhardt, batter for Vineland in the 9 spot. I think the best thing for Shapiro here is to avoid a repeat of the first inning. I mean, the first inning didn't have monumental damage to it, but what it ended up being was, for Vineland, they just got a runner on, and then they just started running and running. You saw Etheridge had 2 stolen bases, then Santiago got on, and that 1 run scored on the passed ball. Vineland is actually still without a hit in this game, even though they have the run. We're actually still looking for our first hit in the game. Millville reached on a fielding error at third. It was a fielding error at third by Townsend off the bat of Shapiro. He was pinch ran for, and then whoever his pinch runner was ended up getting thrown out at second base. So still no hits for either side, looking for our first in the game. No balls, 2 strikes to the number 9 hitter. Shapiro looking for a clean second. That one's away. One ball, 2 strikes. Millville will bat 8, 9, and 1 in the third. Ground ball in play to third. That's a tough hop off the glove. Took a really bad hop that time off of Mulherrin. We'll see how they score it, but I think that will be a fielding error at third by Mulherrin. Unless they give Vineland their first hit there. We do go to the top of the order now for Menzoni. We were talking with Fred Swartz yesterday, the game that we covered between Overbrook and Pennsville. As that throw gets away, runner gets up, he's going to go. Same play as before, but now the throw to second is in time. No, he's safe. They're going to say he bobbled the ball on the transfer. And Pat Toll is not going to get his way. But they're going to say I thought he was out, but Pat Toll is not happy at all. Valdra Forbes is going to try to get something going here. He's not happy. I mean, Pat Toll was incensed at short there. And again, Forbes, second-year head coach, he's kind of saying, what are we doing here? But they're saying that the ball came out on the transfer, which if the tag was applied, but it wasn't applied cleanly, think about it as in the sense of football. If you score a touchdown, you've got to have clear possession of the football. But in baseball, just like when you apply a tag, you have to have clear possession. It can't be rattling around in the glove or anything. You have to have a firm grip on it. And Galante and Wilgus will not confer, and the call will stand. Sure, Millville is not happy at all about that call. I really don't know what to make of it. We're out here in the outfield. I did not see the baseball at all, so I'm not in a position to judge. But Vineland's going to try to take advantage of that situation, especially with 2 outs. That would have been the 3rd out of the inning, and because the runner advanced, that's going to be a throwing error against the pitcher Shapiro. So that's now going to mean 2 fielding errors already. Now the throw down to third. Not going to get anything there. Talk about Vineland taking advantage of it. It's 1-0. So Vineland has 2 errors. Millville has 2 errors. And it looks like this is going to be a repeat of last night all over again. Again, last night's game, final score of 17-11. That one's up and away. 3-0. Next batter for Vineland will be C.J. Santiago, the first baseman. 1-0 Fighting Clan, and a strike called, 3-1. As we said, it'll be Christian McGarity, and then Bobby Dixon and Pat Toll. 8, 9, and 1 for Millville. Outside, that's ball 4. So a walk for Etheridge puts runners on the corners here with 2 away. Pardon, that was Manzoni who had the walk, so it will be Etheridge. Actually, don't have not updating my scorecard today because it's so cold that I can't even really write with my pen. I tried for an inning and I fell behind and I just abandoned it. I mean, we'll do the best we can, but it is freezing. Popped up and it's foul, 0-1. Vineland 1, Millville nothing. Still no hits for either side. Would be interesting to see Vineland go up 2-0 without any hits. It's happened before. It's just rare. As the 0-1. Runner goes. That'll be stolen base number 5. As Manzoni swipes second base, 2 runners in scoring position. But we were talking with Fred Swartz yesterday. He was as our guest for color commentary in Overbrook, Pennsville, and one of the things he said is that when he's scoring a game, he wants his first hit to be a clean one. Not that he's not going to score it if it's not clean, but he's going to, you hope. The ideal situation is that you have, a clean base hit, one that's without dispute, one that's without controversy or really any interpretation. That one's low, 2-2. Because what happens if you only get one hit and then it ends up being controversial and then the home team puts it in and they say it was a no-hitter? You don't want to accidentally miss out on calling a no-hitter, and vice versa. You don't want to call a no-hitter falsely when there's not one. Ground ball foul. It's still 2-2. To the number 3 hitter, C.J. Santiago, hitting over 400 this year. We said Manzoni, Santiago, and also one of their backup catchers, Sincere Moore. Those 3 hitters all hitting over 400 this year. Santiago foul, right field line. So that's why we say when you want your first hit to be a clean hit, it's just so that you make sure you get everything right. Because if I have to confer with Vineland's book, the home scorekeepers, that is a long walk from our perch in left center field down to the first base dugout. The 2-2. Strike 3 called. Side retired. A huge bout for Garrett Shapiro, and Vineland has left 4 runners on in the first 2 innings of the game. They left on 2 in the first and 2 more in the second. We go to the third. Both teams searching for their first hit. 1-0 Vineland. Three, two, one. Welcome back. This broadcast is brought to you by Harper Driving School. Over 90% of students who take their New Jersey State driving test with Harper pass on their first attempt. Book an appointment today at Suite 4 of the Total Turf Complex in Pittman at 614 Lambs Road, just minutes from Route 55. 8-9-1 for Millville to lead off the third, as Toro still dealing here in the historic Cumberland County battle between Millville and Vineland. If you missed out on last night's action, Quinn Broadcasting has that one. Vineland won on the road at Millville 17-11. The interesting thing about this rivalry slash historic series is that Vineland has not swept Millville since 2017. That was the last time that Vineland won both games in the Cape Atlantic American against the Thunderbolts. They played one game 21 and one game in 2019. But 2017 was the last time that Vineland won both games, and I was unable to find, I think it was back in the Mike Trout years, was the last time that Millville swept Vineland. So it would make sense for a guy like Mike Trout to be a contributor in that. But with all that being said, talking about Millville and the Thunderbolts from 2018, I should say from 2022 to 2025, Millville and Vineland split their season series every single year. It's a changeup inside from Toro, 2-1. So you'll be seeing these two teams a lot, obviously, in the Cal American, but the interesting thing is that, well, they won't see each other again unless they meet in the Group 4 playoffs after today. With the back-to-back scheduling of the Cape Atlantic, first used in 2022. And the best way it was described to me was actually by a coach not in the Cape Atlantic at all, and it was Vincent Lundino of Delsey. And he told me, he said, well, it's great because we get to see two different pitchers guaranteed for our games. And Londino had a great example. Frank Chiron, the left-hander who was committed to Coastal Carolina. There's a swing and a miss by Toro, or to Toro, for out number one. Strikeout number 3 for the right-hander. But we'll go to the number 9 hitter in Millville's second baseman, Bobby Dixon. But as we were saying, Chiron was committed to Coastal Carolina, but was drafted in the second round of the Major League Baseball draft by the Milwaukee Brewers. He was one of 3 South Jersey products drafted directly out of high school in last year's draft. It was the first time since 2019 that 3 or more South Jersey prospects were drafted straight out of high school. Breaking ball outside, 1-1. So it was Chiron in the second round. It was Matthew Ferrara out of Toms River East in the 11th round. And it was Logan Dawson out of Eastern Regional in the 16th round. All 3 signed with their respective teams. Ferrara was committed to, I believe it was North Carolina State. And Logan Dawson was committed to Boston College. Both of them actually ended up playing at least some games late in the season for the Clearwater Threshers in Single A. Toro, the 1-2 to Dixon. Kicks and delivers. Strike 3 called. Outside corner. 4 strikeouts for Toro. And that's out number 2. So we'll go to the top of the order now. It'll be Pat Toll, the shortstop, batting for Millville. So, getting back to my point, Londino said that, well, if you had to face Chiron twice in the season, that's not really fair to you, because Delsey could just strategically start their best guy when they needed him the most versus those 2 games. I see it in the Tri-County Royal. Gloucester Catholic versus, let's say, anybody else near the bottom of that division. Williamstown, GCIT, Washington Township. Those guys could seriously just go up to, if they had a phenom pitcher, they could just go up to Gloucester Catholic twice a year and start their best guy. And theoretically, if you're Gloucester Catholic, you probably face a team's best pitcher 80% of the time, because they will almost always put their number 1 guy versus one of the top teams in South Jersey, if not one of the top teams in the state. So that's what the Cape Atlantic model, and also pioneered by the Greater Middlesex Conference, aims to do. As a fly ball to right, this one's got some carry to it. It's caught. So we will still search for our first base hit as Barnhart comes down with that one in right field. Going to the bottom of the third here at Vineland North. 1-0 in favor of the Fighting Clan. Bottom of the third, 1-0 Vineland leads. It's 3, 4, and 5 for the Fighting Clan. CJ Santiago leads us off. He'll be followed by the pitcher Mario Toro and the number 5 hitter in Bobby Quinones. It's actually kind of nice seeing the clear sky and, you know, no real threat of rain, but we'll say it is quite cold out here, but we deal, we live. And luckily, both of our cars have nice heating so that we can drive home safely. Fly ball, foul. Good thing about Vineland is that I can go to the best Planet Fitness in all of South Jersey. I have to mention it every time I'm here. It's the one on Landis Avenue. It's 24 hours. It's like a 2-story warehouse. It's got every machine that you could ask for. That's why it's a swing and a miss. It's 1-2. When Vineland's new athletic director reached out to me and said, "Would you like to broadcast this game?" I said, "Sure." And in the back of my mind, I thought, good, this means I have an excuse to go to the Landis Avenue Planet Fitness because it is just so nice. It's 2-2. But Vineland and Millville, you know, just such great areas to be in, and they're being developed so well. You know, I think people are finally starting to put Cumberland County on the map as a hotbed in South Jersey, just in general, as their strike 3. Strikeout number 3 for Shapiro. Toro will be the batter now in the cleanup spot for Vineland. But the reason why I say I'm happy there's no threat of rain is that, as I said, we've been here numerous times in the Tri-County Summer League. And in said Summer League, you know how it is in June and July and August. Every single day it feels like it could rain at any moment. But we had a game here one time when we had Vineland, and it was the Blackwood Bears facing off against one another. And in that game, we had starting lineups. We were ready to go. We were in this very box, and we see a dark gray cloud. As this ball is hit well out towards center field, it's going to stay in the ballpark, and it'll be caught in center by McGarity. Backing up to it, it's out number 2. That's a good read off the bat. I mean, he made good contact. I think if the wind was a little bit stronger, and honestly, if the weather was a little bit warmer, you don't even have to worry about the wind. If the weather was a little bit warmer, that ball could have gotten out. That's a summer league home run, but instead it's a fly ball here for out number 2 as both teams still searching for their first hit in a 1-0 Vineland lead. First pitch by Quinones to second base. It popped out of his glove. And that will be another error. That's 3 against Millville now, and it puts a runner on. And I believe they will have a courtesy runner for Quinones. Well, we've got another night game on Friday, so I'm very much hoping that the weather is nicer by then. We'll have Glassboro and Williamstown, 6 o'clock from Owens Park in Williamstown, literally across the street from Williamstown High School. But you can put 2 and 2 together. One field has lights, the other doesn't. That's the first pitch. Is a strike called. To Townsend. Millville will bat 2, 3, and 4 in the top of the 4th. That one is high, not a chance at second. That's the 6th stolen base for Vineland, and it puts a runner in scoring position. Yeah, we've got a couple of night games throughout the year. Not as many as I would like, but it feels like less teams are playing night games as of now. I don't know if they just get scheduled later in the year, but what we would sometimes see is teams from South Jersey playing at the Trenton Thunderbolt Park, but that stadium is undergoing major renovations, and they are not having any high school games in the spring. So we hope to see them again in 2027. It's a fly ball, left field, staying in the air, over towards the third base side. Mulranen, he drops it, and the run scores. Back-to-back errors against the Thunderbolts, and scoring all the way from second base on the pop fly will be Quinones' pinch runner, and it's 2-0. That is now 4 errors for Millville, as Townsend will reach and Nino Torres will bat for the Fighting Clan. That's just shocking. I mean, I know both teams had 5 errors yesterday, but I wouldn't have thought it would have taken 3 innings, not even, for 4 errors for Millville. It's funny, the last time we covered Millville, defense and errors were a problem. It was opening day for Millville versus Pittman. They won the game 6-3, as there's a bunt down the third base line foul. But the funny thing is that Pittman was actually the one that had all those errors. They had 6 errors in their game. But again, that creates so much confidence for Vineland, and it creates so much uncertainty for Millville, because if you're the Thunderbolts, every time a fly ball gets in the air, if you're not 100% sure that that ball's going to land in your glove, that's a bad precedent to set. Ball's inside. 1-1. And again, that can derail a pitcher like Shapiro if you're not careful. If you're not careful, then it could really mess you up by way of just not being able to throw strikes, because if your defense is struggling, you're going to be consistent, and you're going to be insistent, rather, on getting strikeouts, because you don't have, you may not tell them that, but you might not have trust in your defense. One ball, 2 strikes. Time called. One ball, 2 strikes. That one pops out of the glove, and that'll be a stolen base. Runner's holding at second here. But this has not been a clean defensive night for either side. Two for Vineland, four errors for Millville. It's looking like it's going to be a repeat of last night, except just without all of the wild offense. 2-2. Fly ball left field straight away. This is going to be down the line. It might go foul. No, it's caught and left. Great play down the line, and the inning is over. So Millville stands on their own a little bit after a nice play by Preston, but another litany of errors by the Thunderbolts send another run home for the Fighting Clan. It's 2-0 after 3. It is a freezing night here from Vineland High School at Vineland's North Field as we welcome you back here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting in another classic installment of this famous Cumberland County rivalry. I'm Dan Wilkins. Damian Waiters is my producer as the first pitch is a ground ball. Third base side, picked up. Throw to first is a clean one in time. That's out number 1. So Garrett Shapiro will be third batter here for Millville, 2, 3, and 4. Both teams still searching for their first hit here through 3 innings. But the 2 runs that Vineland has scored, they scored one in the first on a pass ball, and they scored another in the bottom of the third on an E5. Millville committed 2 more errors in the inning to get them to 4 total on the day. Now, the reason why I'm telling you that is that both scoreboards say 0 in the hit column. I had at least one play that I thought was a base hit for Millville. So I'm going to trust the scoreboard, and if we do go that deep in the game without, because we're already in the 4th inning, we only have the 4th 5, we're only, we're 3 out of 7 done, almost halfway. If we get to that point, if we get to like the 5th or 6th, and one of these 2 teams doesn't have a hit, we'll compare scorebooks with the home book, Vineland, to make sure that everything's in step. Because, I don't want to get anything wrong, but this is definitely an odd situation. And after the offensive timeout, Valdra Forbes talking to Shapiro. He'll have an 0-2 count here with 1 away. After the ground ball to third was the first out. It'll be Shapiro and then Morganson for Millville as their strike 3. 5 strikeouts for Mario Toro, the Rowan College commit. Jaden Goranson, the batter for Millville, 0 for 1. Struck out swinging in his first at bat. 2 outs, nobody on. Fly ball, first pitch. Going to be a very quick inning for Toro if he brings this down, and he does. Etheridge with the catch, and a 1-2-3 frame for the Fighting Clan. Going to the bottom of the 4th. Both teams, 0 hits on the board, but Vineland has 2 runs, 2-0. Bottom of the 4th inning here from Vineland. I'm Dan Wilkins, joined by Damian Waiters. This broadcast is brought to you by the South Jersey chapter of the National Adult Baseball Association. Registration is underway for the 2026 spring season. Even though it has already began, it is not too late to register. Visit, South Jersey NABA.com for more information. 8-9-1, Brett Bosch, the leadoff batter for Vineland. Both teams, no hits. Here in the midway portion of the ball game. Reached the halfway point here. And it's the 0-1. Swing and a miss. Beautiful breaking ball from Shapiro, and the Millville dugout reacts accordingly. They loved it, and it's 0-2. So it'll be Brosh, Barnhart, and then Menzoni at the top of the order. The 0-2. Fouled back. Vineland 5-2. We said that they probably shocked everybody with the the 12-2 Mercy Rule win over Cherokee. That was at home. They will face Washington Township on the road today, and there is the first hit for Vineland. We said that we wanted a clean one. That's the first hit, and it comes from Brett Brosh. Breaks up a short-lived no-hit bid. Ball is high. 1-0 is high. 2-0. We'll be at Rutgers Camden tomorrow for NJAC Division III baseball between Rowan and Rutgers Camden. First pitch at 3:30. Jake Clark will be on the call with Gavin Van Rel. It's 2-0. Ball gets away, and they're going to send him back to first. Kyle Jones doesn't seem like he's arguing it. I think they're going to call it a foul ball, and it's going to be 2-1. So I think what they're saying is that it hit the bat, even if it just grazed it. Batter showing bunt again. That one's low, 3-1. Because even if he makes the slightest bit of contact, if you touch, even 1% of the bat, that's still a foul ball. I got to imagine, though, real feel of 34 here, just above freezing. Even if you make contact, it's going to sting. If you get jammed, bless you, because that is going to sting. Manzoni will bat with 2 on and nobody out. Shapiro's really got to lock things down here. Base hit and a walk. I mean, it was the first hit for Vineland. We're hearing that the Shapiro single all the way back in the first inning could be an infield single, but that's not how it's reflected on the scoreboard. One's high, 1-0. But again, this is a better time than ever for Shapiro to settle in and getting out. Although batter showing bunt. That one's foul from Manzoni. 1-1. So Manzoni and then Etheridge. Etheridge reached on that little dribbler that was E5 at third base by Millville. Ended up stealing second, stealing third, and then scoring on a passed ball for our first run. One's popped up, back behind the plate, and foul. No chance that time, and it's 1-2. For Millville, this is our second time seeing the Thunderbolts on DWB. We last saw them on March 24th, 2025 versus Pittman, a game that they won 6-3. And then for Vineland, this is our fourth time, actually our fifth time seeing them. Last time was the South Jersey Group 4 quarterfinals versus Lenape. Saw them on opening week last year as well versus Cumberland, a game that Vineland won 5-1. Cumberland held their own in the game, though, after a 3-run first inning by Vineland. And this time around this year, Cumberland won that one 4-3. That one's outside, rather, and the count is full. So walk would load the bases for Etheridge, a batter who's hitting over the 400 mark. Can definitely be a pure offensive threat here for the Fighting Clan. 3-2 is high, ball 4. And the bases are loaded for Vineland. So Etheridge will bat, and now the infield will come in for Millville as they're going to talk things over. But there were a lot of pitching changes yesterday. Millville and Vineland both used a lot of their pitching in the slugfest. As we said, final score was 17-11. So we'll see how it ends up working out for them. But Vineland really has a chance with the bases loaded and the meat of the order coming up to really blow this game open. They already got a run home in the bottom of the third on the E5. But again, Brett Brosh got your first hit, and then we had a walk and another one. So Shapiro really having to settle down here with his infield talking it over. John Galante, the home plate umpire, will come out and try to break this up. Are they going to take him out of the game? They will. So we'll have a pitching change. It was quite a long discussion, but we will see Millville as they will bring in, pardon us for a second. Oh, he's coming out with the lineup card, making sure they get everything right. With somebody new coming out from the dugout. Apologize, it's hard to read those jersey numbers. It's going to be number 22 in Cole Mulherrin. So they do end up pulling him in from third base to pitch here for Millville. So we'll be right back. Bases loaded, nobody out. Vineland's got a chance to break it open, 2-0. Cole Mulherrin, new pitcher for Millville. 5 1/3 innings for him this year, 7.88 ERA. I don't know if this is bad luck, but he's got 6s across the board. There's a fly ball to right center field. It's caught. That'll bring home a run. Out number 1, sac fly brings in the runner. Brosh scores. It's 3-0 Vineland. So that'll make it 3-0 Fighting Clan. But I was just about to say, he's got 6 hits, 6 runs, 6 walks, and 6 Ks. So he'll give up the sacrifice fly. The batter will be Santiago after Etheridge drove him home. I was just going to say 2, 3, and 4 with the bases loaded is a scary sight for Vineland. Or I guess a scary sight for whoever Vineland has to face. But Mulherrin last season had a 5.05 ERA in 26 1/3 innings, 19 earned runs, 15 walks, 18 Ks. Runner goes. That throw is cut off by the shortstop. They're going to throw back to third, and it gets away. The aggressiveness is going to cost them a run. That'll move everybody up. That's the 5th error for Millville. The run comes in to score, and it's a party in that first base dugout. 4-0. And somebody just said a whole lot of free running. And I mean, they're right. I don't know if that was a Millville coach or what, but they're absolutely right. Vineland has 1 hit, and Vineland has had Millville has had 5 errors in the game. I understand it's cold, but this has been a rough night. Caught it first. Runner's coming home. They didn't see it. Here he comes. He is safe. That's a video game play. Sacrifice fly in the infield. Not often do you see that happen. A sac fly in the infield. So now the bases are empty. The runner caught the first baseman napping. Maybe not even napping, but Richter wasn't expecting him to come home. That is peak aggressiveness if I've ever seen it. And it's 5-0 on a 3-run inning that's only seen 1 hit, and that was the first batter, Brett Brosh. This is something else here for Vineland. As we said that they have a chance to break this one open, and they kind of did, but not in the way anybody expected. Toro rips it foul. That is a mashing swing by Mario Toro. Ground ball over the mound. Out to short. Tull shuffles. And he's safe. He got pulled off the bag. Tull shuffled one too many times. It's going to be, I think that's going to be an error on Millville. I think that's going to be 6. We've seen so many games this year that have been riddled with defensive errors. Isaiah Quinones will be the batter. Deals with a runner on first and 2 down in a 5-0 game. Vineland scored 1 run in the bottom of the first. On a wild pitch, and there's another throwaway. Oh my goodness, now the runner's going to stop there. Free running. It's been the name of this game. And he'll get down to second base. That is the 7th error against Millville. And again, Vineland does not have a clean sheet either. They've got 2. But every single play, you worry that something is going to happen here for Millville. And Vineland is just taking pure advantage of it. There's really nothing you can do. If you're Millville, you just got to sit back, and these guys got to relax. I mean, they are under extreme pressure here in this rivalry game. You know, obviously, I think they were a little bit exasperated after yesterday, the 17-11 game. You know, to give them some grace about that game was nearly 4 hours. It was a bout of a ball game. A swing and a miss from Mulherron, sinker ball that time, and it's 2-1. But you got to get out of this inning, and you have to get runs on the board in the top of the 5th, because Millville, as far as we're concerned, as far as the scoreboard is telling us, does not have a hit. And if they do, it's a contested one on the infield single by Garrett Shapiro. All the way back in the first inning. So if you want to dispute whether or not that's a hit, that's fine. And if you want to call it a hit, then you can say that innings 2, 3, and 4, Millville's been without a hit, and Mario Toro has shut him down. Oh, off his foot. That hit off the foot of Vineland's batter in Quinones. And like I said, anything that hurts any time of year is going to hurt 10 times worse when it's 35 degrees outside. The 2-2. Fly ball, center field. This one's slicing, and it drops. Drops in front of McGallery. And that will bring home another run, RBI single for Vineland, and it's 6-0. So that answers your question. Well, that's the second hit. And the catcher will be pinch run for, or courtesy run for, as the batter is Townsend. Strike called. Well, it's been a 4-run inning for Vineland. And Millville will bet 2, 3, and 4. Hecox, Shapiro, and Goranson in the 5th. Ground ball over the middle. Who's going to get this one? Did he get to play at second? No, he didn't. That's an infield hit. So here's Nino Torres. This inning just keeps on dreaming for Vineland. 4 runs, And if you're not a fan of the cold weather, they're only 4 runs away from putting up a mercy rule. Obviously not in this inning. They'd have to complete the 5th, but strike called, 0-1. Like we said, we've got Rowan and Rutgers Camden tomorrow, Glassboro and Williamstown on Friday, and then what's sure to be a very fun Ralph Shaw weekend in Audubon. First game will be at 11 a.m. It'll be between Bishop Eustis and Ocean City. Game 2 will be at 2:30 p.m. on Saturday between Paul VI and Audubon. The consolation game of that tournament will be on Sunday at 11 a.m. The championship game will be same day, 2:30. And we were talking with Fred Swartz about the Ralph Shaw. It used to be 8 teams that would play. They'd have pool play across Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You'd have the 3rd place game on Friday, and you'd have the championship game on that Sunday. I think it was something like they would have a 5th place game as well, you know, kind of to give as many consolation games as possible, because one of the things that coaches sign up for when they sign up for these tournaments is, well, you're going to get more games out of it. No matter who you play, you're going to get 2 games. That one's foul, out of play, still 2-2. Bishop Eustis has been a long mainstay of the tournament. Kingsway was a long-time mainstay. Not a long time, but they had been there for several years. They were reportedly not invited back as a ground ball to first. Picked up by Mulranen, and the inning is over. A 4-run inning for Vineland, just across 2 hits. We go to the top of the 5th. It is 6-0. Marcellus Preston, the batter, 5, 6, and 7 for Millville. Millville still searching for their first hit of the game. Upstairs. Strike called. So Toro, 4 hitless innings so far in a 6-0 game. Swing and a miss. 1-2. And every out that Toro makes you closer to a Vineland win. Because really, as it is, Vineland has shut down these Thunderbolts effectively and really without issue. Here's the 1-2. Outside. 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes to Marcellus Preston. Toro delivers. Ground ball, third base side, picked up. Nice play, throw is in time. There's one away. So with one away, it'll be the pitcher, formerly the third baseman, but the pitcher, Cole Mulherrin. He actually did a pretty good job at shutting down the Millville, or the, I don't want to say the Millville collapse, but more the Vineland attack after Shapiro was taken out of the game. Shapiro was doing just fine. And he hadn't even allowed any hits. Those 2 runs that he allowed in the first and third innings are unearned to him. So the only runs that he's going to be responsible for are going to be the one that came in on the sacrifice fly. And that's 1 out of 3. And then the other 2 are unearned. Shapiro only, Mulherrin only allowed 1 run. And even that was unearned. But Millville has had 7 errors in 4 innings. And what you make up at the plate is how you respond to a poor day in the field. We had a game just yesterday, Overbrook and Pennsville. Overbrook, had a couple of misslips in the defensive part, but they kept the game tied because their pitching got them out of it. But if you're unable to get the pitching out of it, and if you're unable to get the defense working, as sliding stop at second, throw is in time. What a play, Dom Manzoni. How about that? Dom Manzoni with a great play for out number 2, and it keeps this bid for Mario Toro alive. Yeah, like we said, I'm just going off of what I have. It's 35 degrees, and if I go down to the home dugout to get a ruling on the book, I'm not going to be back until the next inning. So if Millville gets a hit, I would much rather it be a clean hit that I do not have to make a decision on. Make it one that's easy to swallow, Especially if this game ends up, if Millville Vineland gets 4 runs in the bottom of the 5th, and this game ends in 5, 10-0. Swing and a miss. It's 1-1. So we said Vineland will play Washington Township on Saturday. And then they will be starting their next divisional series versus the Cedar Creek Pirates and Ryan Flannery. Vineland's next night game will not be until Friday, May the 8th versus Delsey. That one's low. 3-1. For Millville, they do not play this weekend. Their next Cape Atlantic American divisional matchup will be Monday and Tuesday, away at Ocean City Monday, home Tuesday. And then they'll host Pennsville in non-conference play on Thursday, and then they'll take another weekend off. They actually don't play on any Saturdays in the month of April. They'll have May the 9th versus Haddonfield. But Haddonfield really going out there scheduling-wise, as that's ball 4. Puts a runner on for the Thunderbolts in the top of the 5th. So McGarity will be the batter for Millville. Four-run inning for Vineland in the bottom of the 4th. Millville searching for their first hit of the game. And even if they do get a hit, this is still going to be a very admirable performance by Mario Toro, for what it's worth. First pitch at the letters, actually above the letters. It's 1-0, pretty clearly a ball there. But yeah, one game tomorrow, one game Friday, then 2 games Saturday, 2 games Sunday. We're back at it on Monday, April the 13th, and hopefully warmer weather in the Olympic Conference between Rancocas Valley and Lenape. Swing and a miss, and then before I make a weekend trip to Virginia, we will see on the 15th, Paul VI and Cherry Hill West. 3:45 first pitch in the Olympic National. The 1-1 to McGarity is upstairs, 2-1. But Vineland with a 4-run inning really puts a chip on their shoulders, and I think it gives them the confidence that they need to succeed in this game. Two balls, one strike. Swing and a miss, 2-2. So this definitely puts some interesting gears in motion if you're Vineland. Scoreboard is saying that Millville does not have a hit. The only thing that it could be would be possibly an infield single by Garrett Shapiro in the top of the first inning. That's really the only thing that can be disputed, though. His dugout backing him up, the 2-2. Swing and a miss, he got him! Mario Toro, half-dozen strikeouts, but no hits on the board through 5 innings. As Vineland, if they get a good enough offensive output, they could send this game home early. But they still got some work to do. 6-0 Fighting Clan going to the bottom of the 5th. Brett Brosh is the batter for Vineland here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Mario Toro's been wheeling and dealing tonight, and after 9 batters came up for the Fighting Clan, across 4 runs in the bottom of the 4th inning, they're going to look to continue their offensive output. When Garrett Shapiro is on the mound, Brosh laced a single back up the middle for Vineland's first hit. They only have 2 hits in the game. Neither team had a hit until the bottom of the 4th inning. Vineland scored first on a passed ball in the bottom of the 1st inning, and then came home on a fielding error at third base in the bottom of the 3rd. And then the 4th inning is where Vineland actually got some real gears in motion. They got 4 runs on 2 hits. Millville had 3 errors in the inning. They're up to 7 total this afternoon / evening. It is pitch black outside, as that one's going to be out and low, 2-1. Yeah, I'm going to look at the forecast for Friday. See if we're going to be suffering again. It's going to say 70. It's going to be 61, which doesn't sound like much, but that's about 25 degrees warmer than it is now. So do with that what you will. 3-1 here to Brosh, 8-9-1. Brosh, Barnhart, and then back to the top of the order for Menzoni. That's ball 4. And a pretty confident strut there down the first base line. And again, I'm not going all the way down to the Vineland dugout to see what they have in terms of the scorebook. If they have that hit in the top of the first inning as a hit, so be it. But I think if Vineland wins this game and Mario Toro completes this this quest here, I think that's going to be a very important milestone, and I think it's something we're going to ride with here. This is going to be a sacrifice. No, it gets away. Runner gets to second. Green light. No, they're holding him at third. That would have been an aggressive way to score a run. They're walking him back. Wait a second. What do we got here? Did the ball go? I don't think the ball went out of play. I think they're saying the runner is out. The batter is out, is what they're calling. They're sending this runner back to first. Yeah, okay, so they're going to call the batter out, and Kyle Jones is going to come out to try to argue this call. Well, Galante and Wilgus are going to talk this over. But even though I didn't have an angle on it, what this could be is this could be the runner being out of the baseline. And Wilgus being in between. I mean, Galante would have a better angle of it. You can see Jones is kind of standing over the line there. So, all right, so that is the call. Runner stays at first. The batter is out, and I believe it is for running out of the baseline. Because if I'm correct, the same rule applies as in Major League Baseball, to where the runner's line is established as in the dirt and to the right of the dirt. If you step even 1 foot in the grass, that could disrupt the sight line of the catcher and or the first baseman. It's considered interference, and the batter is out, and any subsequent base runner is forced to return. So I think that's what the call was. I'm not exactly sure. We can always ask John Galante. He's a good friend of ours. But this is the third game we've seen Galante for this season. We saw him last Tuesday versus Audubon and Clearview. Obviously, he's the owner/head assigner for Tri-State Elite. Great umpiring organization. Really, I think the only sport in in New Jersey, really, where officials are actively being recruited and we're not dealing with a shortfall. I mean, we could still be. I don't know the exact raw numbers of it. I could be dead wrong for all I know. But 1-2, that one gets away. They'll throw down to second, and the runner advances into scoring position. 2-2 with one out. I mean, if you think about all the other sports that the NJSIAA, or at least the major sports that the NJSIAA sponsors, football, basketball, baseball. Football, you need 7 officials for one game. But football's only played 3 days of the week. You know, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Oh, what a catch! At short, he'll tag the bag. Double play! And that might have just saved the game for Millville. A fantastic play at shortstop by Pat Toll. And the inning is over. So Mario Toro will at least have the 6th behind him, as we'll go to the 6th, looking for that first hit for Millville. It's 6-0 Vineland. 9-1-2 for Millville. Top of the 6th inning, Mario Toro, 6 outs away from possibly completing a monumental feat, as right now Millville is held without a hit on the scoreboard. One fouled back, right field side. And no, the announcer's jinx for that kind of thing, I do not believe in it. The players 350 feet away from me cannot hear my headset. They can think about it on their own terms, and if they break it up, it's not my fault. That one's up high, 1-1. It is a wonderfully archaic idea that an announcer, you know, it's not like the public address announcer is getting on the microphone and saying that he's got a no-hit bid going. That's entirely different. If he did that, then that would be a problem because that'd be getting in his head. But there's a strike called outside corner. All I'm doing is, as a play-by-play commentator, my job is to inform the viewer of the situation. I'm not going to send you on a scavenger hunt to let you figure out what Vineland is doing here. You know, you can put context clues together, but as a play-by-play commentator, I have to tell you like it is. What if you were just listening in the car and you didn't have any visual accompaniment to tell you that the score was 6 for Vineland, 0 for Millville? Otherwise, you wouldn't know. That's the way I see it, is that there's really no such thing. Strike 3. 7 strikeouts for Mario Toro. And the 9-hitter, Bobby Dixon, retired. We'll go to the top of the order now for Pat Tull. Tull had that very nice double play in the bottom of the 5th inning. I thought maybe Vineland would get some more runs home. They scored 4 in the bottom of the 5th, or bottom of the 4th rather, and then just had nothing in the 5th. 1 ball, no strikes. One ball, no strikes. To Tull, the leadoff man. Once a strike called. One and two. Breaking ball, just missed. Tull ducked down in the box. Two balls, two strikes. One away to Pat Tull. He got him! Strike 3. 8 strikeouts for Mario Toro. And the Rowan College commit now 4 outs away. It should be noted before it gets too late, we have never had a 7-inning effort of this kind on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, at least at the high school level. Might have happened in the summer league, but I think that goes without saying. That is an entirely different mojo, as that one's high. I think the last time it was done was Chris Rollins in 2024. It might have actually been a combined effort for the Pittman Bad Guys in the Tri-County Summer League. 2-0. And Toro has not been entirely without failure in this game. He's walked 2 batters, and his infield has had 2 errors attributed to them. So Millville's actually had a decent amount of base runners, but all of them obviously have been left aboard, and he just plunked their number 2 hitter in Nate Hecox. They got to make sure he's okay. He's going to go down to first base. So Shapiro will be the batter. Two ball, no, not, I'm sorry, they didn't update the scoreboard. I was looking at it and just instinct. That one is low. Runner on first, 2 away. So we were just talking about Mario Toro is not without his flaws, but he has done very well. 8 strikeouts. And let's just say, if you do believe in the announcers, jinx, a big old goose egg on the scoreboard. Throw back to first, not in time. And that Vineland dugout, they're getting antsy. They're getting restless. I think we're all getting a little bit restless. It's, again, 34 degrees is the real feel. 41 degrees here in Vineland this evening. And now Kyle Jones will come out. Is he on a pitch count limit? Or are they just letting him, or are they just talking to him? Because he is in a little bit of a rut right now. I don't think he's doing terribly, but I'd hate to see him get out of this game, especially with the milestone on the line. Vineland doesn't play again until Saturday versus Washington Township. So say if Toro maxes out his pitch count, which would be 110, even if he maxes out his pitch count, he won't be able to pitch on Saturday, but he could very well pitch in Vineland's their next Cape Atlantic American bout, which would be versus Cedar Creek on Monday and Tuesday. That would be 5 days rest. He could pitch on Monday at Cedar Creek in Galloway, or in Egg Harbor, excuse me. It's a strike called, 1-1. Jason Stockland for Audubon threw a 5-inning no-no versus Washington Township on April 30th, 2022. Struck out 12 in the game. There's a swing and a miss. And Washington Township was not as good of a program as they are today. They lost that game 10-0. Audubon walked it off on a bases-loaded walk. And it's 1-2 with a runner on first after Hecox was plunked to the man who started this game and threw 3 innings. Garrett Shapiro, it's into center field, base hit. Millville breaks it up. Garrett Shapiro with a 2-out base hit. 2 outs, 2 strikes. And Mario Toro, who was 4 outs away, gets the runner on second and a runner on first, and the no-hitter is broken up. So it'll be Jaden Garanson now. That one's right down the pipe. I mean, the one thing is that motive, that anticipation is gone, but now you can just focus on, I mean, if you still throw 6 shutout innings, that's still impressive. Oh, he didn't get him. Etheridge thought he had it. Oh, 0-1 to Garanson. But Shapiro, as we said, he dribbled that ball to third base in the first inning when we just started the game. And it was bobbled at third by Valin Townsend. Now, I had it in my book as an E5. And the only way I could see it being a base hit, though, because it was a tough play. So if Shapiro had that base hit in the first, then all of what we had talked about in the 4th and 5th and even the 6th innings is all a moot point, and he now would have 2 hits. We'll just have to wait and see until what the final box score says. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Toro misses. To Garanson, it's 2-2. Can't tell if that's Vineland's dugout or if that's Millville's dugout. Both of these guys just so hyped. That's what makes it such a great matchup. It's a ground ball. It's in play. Santiago will cover the bag, and the inning is over. So Garrett Shapiro gets the first hit of the game for Millville, but Vineland shuts him down with 2 runners on as Mario Toro, 6 shutout innings and 8 strikeouts to go along with it for the former Felician commit who flipped his commitment to Rowan College. We'll be back in just a moment. Etheridge leads us off in the bottom of the 6th, so the excitement is out the window with the no-hit bid being broken up, but still got a fun game coming up here with Millville and Vineland, 6-0. Strike is called. Again, next broadcast tomorrow, 3:30 p.m., Rowan and Rutgers Camden, NJAC Division III baseball. This ball's laced out towards shallow center field, and a slide. He'll make the catch. McGarity makes the play for out number 1, and it's at least something here, and it looks like Vineland. I thought maybe Vineland, after threatening twice with a mercy rule, flirting with it at least in yesterday's game, thought maybe they'd have a chance to do it again, but instead, Millville with a scoreless 5th and at least a good start to the 6th. And listen, this is at least the best case scenario. I wouldn't say the best case scenario, but it's the best. It's the best scenario for a bad situation, because Millville used so much of their pitching yesterday, and Vineland used so much of their pitching yesterday, that in Game 2 they really had no choice but to keep the pitching usage as minimal as possible. So to have only 2 pitchers on the hill this evening for Millville, Mulheron and then previously Shapiro, and then Mario Toro going 6 shutout, 1 hit ball, that's great. So to have that and to have that kind of strength in your starters as there's a base hit to left field, he'll hold up there. That'll be a 1-out single for the number 3 batter, CJ Santiago. And Mario Toro will be the batter. Yeah, Mario Toro We talked about him on our podcast this afternoon. He's joining the Rowan College Roadrunners. We mentioned Vineland as a team that became a surprising contender in this season. Not that they were bad or anything. I mean, listen, we picked 5 teams, and the teams that David and I had mutual agreement on was Vineland, Timber Creek, and Penn Saucon. Oh, that hits Toro right in the thigh. Obviously not intentional, but Mulherrin now with a single and a hit by Pitt. So maybe he's not out of the woods after all. And it'll be Quinones, the batter, with 2 on and 1 out. Out to center field by Quinones. McGarity going back. He'll make the catch. 1 runner tags. The other runner will hold. And we've got runners on the corners for Vineland. 2 outs. Valin Townsend is the batter. Number 5 slot after Toro, in the 6th slot rather after Quinones hit a deep fly ball to center. Millville with a loss would fall to 1-6. They went 9-15 last season. Wasn't great, but wasn't bad in the Cape Atlantic American. It was actually Egg Harbor that got moved down to the National. And then it was Cedar Creek, last year's National Division champion, that got moved up to the Cape Atlantic American. The thing about the Cal American last year was that all teams had at least 4 divisional wins. Even Vineland, Millville, and EHT all went 4-8 in their division. I think Vineland did a little bit better than that. Their regular season record was 16-11, and obviously as a 6 seed, they had a really strong upset run to get to the South Jersey Group 4 semifinals last year. That's why I had them ranked as high as I did in this week's poll. But a ground ball out to short. Tull is there. He bobbles it. Tough play. Throw back to third, and that gets away. Run will score. And it's 7-0 Vineland. The run comes in from third on a 2-out ground ball, and pardon, 2 runs scored on that play. The runner from third and the runner from second. It's 8-0 Fighting Clan. And I wonder if this is apparently not the end of the line yet for Mulherrin, but it'll be Nino Torres hitting for Vineland here in the bottom of the 6th inning as they add on another 2 very hefty insurance runs. This is a foul tip. Just went into the glove. And it's 0-1. It's actually cold enough I can see my breath. Even on what we call cold days, it's usually not that cold. Our opening day this year was March 23rd, Maple Shade at Northern Burlington. That was a game that was pretty similar to this, except it was during the day. It was cold, pretty rainy. The real feel was 29. And the actual temperature was 44. Not too far off from what it is today. Here in Vineland, 42 degrees, real feel of 34, wind blowing 8 miles an hour to southeast. That's going to drop for a base hit. Stopping it will be the left fielder, Preston. And another base hit for Vineland. That is now their 5th of the day, ever since not having any in the first 3 innings of the game. And after Torres, Bobby Brosh will be the batter. So it's 8-0. 2 runs would win the game. Now those 2 runs are not in scoring position yet, but a wild pitch changes that entire dynamic. Swing and a miss. 0-1. No balls, one strike. Outside. So all the more important for Millville's backstop to defend his post behind the dish. Fouled back. Breaking ball outside, 2-2. Again, join us tomorrow for Rowan and Rutgers Camden, and then join us under the lights from Owens Park on Friday for Tri-County small versus large school action, Glassboro and Williamstown. 2-2. Ground ball, left side, picked up at the second base from Dixon, and the inning is over. We'll have a full 7 innings here in Vineland's North Field. It is Vineland 8 and Millville 0, and as it appears, Mario Toro, he's going to come out for the 7th. We'll be back in just a moment. The 7th inning. Mario Toro looking for a complete game shutout here at Vineland High School, Vineland North Field. One's low and away. To Marcellus Preston, 5, 6, and 7 for Millville. Preston, Mulherron, and Richter. But like we said, what a blessing it is for Vineland and Millville to have light pitching usage days after they exasperated most of their bullpen last night in the very much high-scoring affair, 17-11, Vineland over Millville. If Vineland wins today, it will be the first time that Vineland will have swept Millville in this season series since 2017. In 2019, they only played one game, and in 2021, they only played one game. So 2018 and then 2022 to present, that's 4 years in a row, Vineland and Millville, being two very equally talented teams, split their series. Which is why I thought Millville would have a fighting chance today on the road. But Millville's mid-inning attack stopped that. Fly ball to center field. Apologies, I accidentally kicked the tripod. That's what you do with an underfunded crew. But there's one away as Preston is retired. Cole Mulherron is the batter. Although big thanks to our friends over at Quinn Broadcasting. They do a great job as always with Millville. And they've got the maybe cleaner broadcast tonight. But listen, we figure everything out. I also would like to thank the new Vineland athletic director for bringing us on tonight to replace or at least fill in for the VPS broadcasting folks that were unable to attend tonight. Again, Vineland's next night game like this will be May the 8th versus Delsey. And as we said, they'll go to Washington Township on Saturday the 11th. That's the 1-0. Strike call. Player of the game, I think, because, well, first of all, I want to say that we're going to get out of here pretty quickly after this, after the final pitch is thrown, because it is a brisk one tonight. But I think it goes without saying that Mario Toro is going to be your player of the game. I don't think that there's going to be any ifs, ands, or buts about it. He didn't have much at the plate. I know he had a sac fly, but other than that, honestly, he doesn't even need – he could have gone 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. But his performance on the mound has made this Vineland rotation at ease. It's a fly ball. Right field, no. This is popped up to first, and Santiago is there, and there's 2 away. We are down to our final out. 8-0 Vineland, looking for their first season series sweep over Millville in 9 years. The batter is Richter. First pitch tipped foul, 0-1. Vineland with a win will improve to 6-2. Millville to fall to 1-6. On DWB specifically, Vineland will be 4-1. Millville will be 1-1, I believe. I don't think they've had any other appearances since March 24th of last year. The 0-1. Blooped foul, and it's 0-2. We haven't had a complete game shutout in a while. I don't even know how many pitches he's on, but we know it's under 110 because he faces the Millville Thunderbolts, and the Rowan College commit has had no problem dicing up the visitors with 8 strikeouts and only 1 hit allowed in the top of the 6th inning. Toro, catcher is set. The 0-2 upstairs. Mentioned Toro had some fantastic stats last year, but this season, going into this game, 8 innings with a 1.75 ERA. That ERA might dip below 1 after today with how good of a performance this has been. Quinones is set. The 1-2. Breaking ball. Got him! Strike 3, and the ball game is over. Complete game shutout. Mario Toro. On a night where he was 4 outs away from a no-hitter, he didn't get the penultimate accomplishment, but what he did get is a win. As he strikes out 9, and that curveball at the top half of the zone completes this Cumberland County rivalry with a final score of 8-0. Mario Toro, without a doubt, your player of the game. He's the guy we had our eyes circled on the whole night, and he did not disappoint. Vineland's defense did falter a little bit with 2 errors, but Millville's 7 errors definitely played a role as they were responsible for most of the runs scored by Vineland. Millville's pitching only allowed 2 earned runs, as Millville's 8 runs only came on 5 hits. That'll be all for us tonight on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. We'll be back on the air tomorrow with Jake Clark and Gavin Van Rel on the call as Rowan visits Rutgers Camden in NJAC Division III baseball.